In a world where qualifications are often measured by titles and years of experience, we are reminded of a powerful truth. God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. Lara Trump is the embodiment of this truth.
Ouch! Burn? I think Lara Trump just got roasted, but look, it's her big day, okay? She has now been elected the co-chair of the Republican National Committee. That means that Trump has more influence over the RNC, and she has now the biggest political position that she's ever had. And she got it not based off of qualifications. That's not me saying that. That's the woman announcing the news who said that. But because she married Eric Trump, okay? And I know a lot of people would like poo-poo that and say, well, what kind of qualification is that? She paid her dues. She has had to spend many, many hours in the same room as Eric Trump. Does she not deserve this after all that work, all that service? But anyway, it's not her only experience. She's not only his wife, she's a mother of two, a fitness fiend, says the Wall Street Journal, a Tom Petty cover vocalist, a children's book author, and a former Inside Edition producer. So why should she not be in charge of the Republican National Committee and in charge of hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars? In any event, I'm curious what the panel thinks about her qualifications, but also what she clearly has been put on in this position to do. And in case it's not clear going in, here she is before she got the position telling us what she plans to do.
We need to make sure that every penny of every dollar donated to the RNC is going to Donald Trump's campaign. What I can assure you is if I am there, I will make sure that every single penny donated to the RNC goes to electing Donald Trump and again, extending our lead in the House and taking back the Senate. Here's what I can tell you. The RNC needs to be the leanest, most lethal political fighting machine we've ever seen in American history. That is the goal over the next 9.5 months. If I am elected to this position, I can assure you there will not be any more $70,000 or whatever exorbitant amount of money it was spent on flowers. Every single penny will go to the #1 and the only job of the RNC. That is electing Donald J. Trump as president of the United States and saving this country.
So it is pretty clear what she wants to do and why they would put her on that position, considering that she has no relevant experience whatsoever. You don't need a whole lot of experience to say, we're taking all of this money and we're giving it to Trump, my literal family member.
A lot of mainstream media don't give you honest news. We do, you know why? Because of you. Paid membership on YouTube makes all the difference. Hit the join button below and you become the hero that sustains us.
And at times like this, I'm thinking what I imagine many of you are thinking. Joe Biden really did give too much to Hunter Biden. That family is too embroiled in politics and everything as Trump takes over the entire Republican Party apparatus. So look, I'm not even mad about it though. I'm joking about Lara Trump, but if they want to take all of that money that candidates across the country on the Republican side desperately need to get elected, and they want to just throw it into a massive hole of his legal obligations and fines, I think that's fine. She taking that position and promising to give all the money to Trump, something I think that she will make good on, certainly imperils their chances of holding on to the House and their chances of taking over the Senate. And as someone who doesn't want them in power, I really don't mind. Francesca, what do you think?
You said everything, John. This is what I don't want to do the show with you anymore.
I apologize.
Because you just said all the good stuff, but you're exactly right. The nepotism charges for Hunter Biden. Oh, look, now Lara Trump, the daughter-in-law, is in charge of the RNC. Do you guys care about democracy? No, we don't. We just care about King Trump winning again and again and again. All of the money that they're gonna need to, yes, to maintain the House, to gain any kind of lead, to win the Senate, I guess. No, all of that's gone. It's completely gone. And if they don't win in November, like what happens? Does Lara Trump stay on because of her incredible, I mean, she can really do free fall, and when she gets like a couple of beers in her and she just, and free, no man, you're gonna be in free fall is what you're gonna be in if he doesn't win in November. And even if he does, like, I don't know, it's just mind boggling to me, but good luck. The problem, and I think the interesting thing is, what about all the donors to Nikki Haley, folks like the Koch brothers, the buttoned up conservatives? They want their tax breaks, but they want to do it, without all the overt racism. Is it going to be more difficult for the RNC to fundraise now that Lara Trump is in charge?
Yeah, and just to piggyback on your free falling reference, how about I won't back down? I think that a lot of these Republicans, they hear these types of songs, I won't back down. I'm so tough. I'm not going to back down. And then they start using it or singing it or whatever until the estate of Tom Petty hears about it and sends him a cease and desist. And he's like, stop using my songs. This poor guy who supports nothing you're doing. Please back down. We don't want you to not sing his songs. And this is continuously happening, by the way. That pretty soon, like if it gets out that she was this Tom Petty vocalist, I'm sure the estate's gonna do something, and she'll have to turn to one of these, far right wing, she'll start singing Kid Rock music. So that's one thing she's gonna end up doing. Number one. Number two, the introduction was brilliant. I mean, the lady said, I forget the exact word. She goes, "God does not choose the qualified, but qualified."
The chosen. Oh God.
The chosen. Listen, I'm a comedian. If I were about to go up on stage and the MC would be like, this guy coming to the stage, he's not funny, but sometimes comedy chooses people, and we got no one else. So he's here to take your money. Bring him on. I'd be like, really? Like, I'd be offended. So that was the worst intro. And thirdly,
God chose him to make you laugh, though.
God chose him to make you laugh. Don't listen to his jokes. His jokes don't have punchlines. But if you just listen to God, it'll tickle you.
If you don't laugh, you're not a pious person, effectively.
Yeah, and at this point, by the way, I think the word grifter should be a synonym to the word Trump. As a matter of fact, I think that from now on, you know how Trump gives nicknames? We should just name them all like Lara Grifter, Donald Grifter, Ivanka Grifter. Just start using the last name Grifter for them and really get the point across that these people are the biggest grifters. I've seen so many videos of Trump supporters at Trump rallies going, you know what I love about him? He doesn't need the money. He's already got money. He's rich. And I go, then why is he sending you a letter asking you for money? If you really didn't need the money, he'd be like, look, I'm a billionaire. I got this. Don't worry about it. You keep your money. Pay for your children to eat. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, here's a check. I'm going to write you a check. He doesn't need the money. Not only does he needs the money so badly, he's putting his daughter-in-law in charge of asking you for money while he's asking you for money from another one. He's asking for money in several different, he is the ultimate spam call. Donald Trump, if you get a phone call and it says potential spam, that's Donald Trump and his family calling you. Don't answer.
Yeah, and if you're a conservative, like, you know that he could just spend $1 billion of his own dollars, fully fund his own presidential campaign, freeing up all that money for good MAGA weirdos all over the country to win. And at the end, he would still be a billionaire. But he's not gonna do that. He's gonna take all of your money, he's gonna soak it up from these other candidates, and they aren't gonna have it, and they're not gonna get elected. And for some reason, you think that he's a hero for that reason. But before we move on, I do wanna remind you, in terms of, like, again, we keep coming back to, like, did you know Hunter Biden got a job because he's related to Joe Biden? Yeah, that's nepotism, and I don't like it. Did you know that Lara Trump got a job with Parscale for Trump's re-election campaign in 2020, and she was paid $180,000 a year as a political consultant? That's just stupid money. That's just free money. She doesn't have qualifications. In 2021, she was rumored that when Richard Burr left office, she would run for Senate.
I remember that.
So she was an Inside Edition producer. That's good. I love producers. That's good. Does that necessarily qualify? Obviously, she's gonna run for Senate, but that's not suspicious. Hunter Biden, selling a painting or something, clearly nepotism, and I think Congress should investigate. They're ridiculous.
This goes back real quickly, John. This goes back to our first segment where we were talking about Katie Britt and how it's funny how she was. And in this case, Lara Trump being now one of the people in charge of the RNC. It's funny, but after you're done laughing, you got to step back and look at the actual crimes that are being happening. Look at the actual policies that they're trying to pass and realize that you're being taken, and wake up and fight.